Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode of Brand Analytics. Russell and I are just having a ton of fun, reporting back to our brand, especially after a big Cyber Monday, Black Friday event we just had. Amazon now is able to give us analytics on the brand stores. So that's what we really wanted to cover today. Hi, my name again is Vinny Alvarez. I'm a senior analyst here at Vendo. Super excited to be on screen again, just to put a small segment in terms of what we find in brand analytics. And here next to me, you'll find Russell. He is one of our data experts. I mean, I would say he is the lead data expert at Vendo. And just wanted, Russell, if you can introduce yourself, and then we can dive into brand analytics for a little bit.
Hey guys, yeah, I'm Russell Shu, and the main thing that I do here is look at analytics and just breaking things down, explain to the clients, and just really diving deep into the data and trying to find anything we can work off of. So let's dive into it.
Awesome. So as you know, Russell, we just came from a heavy weekend, right? This weekend was Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Can you give me perhaps some insights or some just high-level reviews of what you've seen so far? What performed better? Was it Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And then we'll dive into brand analytics. Brand store analytics, right? I always get the two confused because we're always living in the data world here, but I really want to dive into the brand store analytics. But for now, just give me your insights and what was your perspective on Black Friday, Cyber Monday there?
So this year was interesting. So a lot of trends followed what we've seen in past years as far as Black Friday and Cyber Monday. On Thursday, during Thanksgiving, obviously you have a very bad dip in sales, which is totally expected, so nothing to worry about there. And then Friday, you see a really big boost in sales when all the big events kick in for all the different brands. And then Saturday and Sunday, you'll also see a lot of good sales, but then Monday is where you really see that spike. Cyber Monday is the day where sales really go up. This year was a little bit different. Cyber Monday wasn't as high just because people weren't shopping in person as much. So this year they were doing it all online. So in the past years, you had all those online shoppers focusing on Monday. This year, it was a little more spread out, but it was still really good sales. And, the other thing is that leading into Black Friday this year, our sales were actually also really good just because people are already looking at deals, which wasn't always the case in past years. So it was a very interesting year for us.
No, absolutely. And I think it all depends on the brand, right? If we look at tech, normally does really well on Cyber Monday. So, huge percentage of sales there. You always got to build out to make sure you cover that spread that you talked about, Friday through Monday. But to your point, usually good start, Black Friday, heavy finish on Cyber Monday. So really good performance there. But now, let's tie it back in. What we did here for the sake of this exercise and what we're going to show you guys is we took two different brands. And what we did was, not only are we looking at, obviously we do our due diligence, we look at total revenue and we look at attribution from Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday in terms of what days were, really perform really high. But I think a lot of our brands don't really see the opportunity that brand stores now have, right? Amazon is making a huge push. They're adding different call to actions everywhere within the listings, through advertising, through sponsor brands. Sponsor brands is now very popular. I mean, it's sponsor brands. It's meant to sponsor your brand on Amazon, right? And that type of media buy usually leads the customer down the funnel and takes them to the brand store. So what we wanted to talk about today is really what kind of analytics we're looking at the brand store, right? And then we're taking actually two brands and seeing what they did different, right? And that's the fun part about data analytics is you're able to compare same data sets across different brands and really see what's resonating from different brands. And then you go back to the creative, you back it up, right? And see, okay, if this brand had, 200% growth and this brand only had 50% growth, what is it that brand B is not doing, that brand A is doing, and what can we get for brand B to do so that we can get them up in certain events when we have high traffic events like Black Friday, Cyber Monday? It's just those things that's the fun part of our job, I think. It's really looking at that data and coming back with actionables because we're always looking at incremental revenue, at increasing that revenue that our brands are averaging, right? But during spikes, how can we get them there? And that's how through data, we're able to learn a lot of different things. And let me walk you guys, and let me share my screen here real quick. So give me a second. So walk us through the different data types that Brand Analytics is able to see. Obviously, I couldn't show you guys the dashboard because we want to keep our confidentiality with our brands confidential. But these are things, different data sets here that we pulled, just so that you can get a perspective of what kind of data brand stores are now providing to sellers like us.
Yeah, so this is the basic data, the basic statistics that you're able to see for your brand store as a whole. So it doesn't break it down into individual brand pages just yet. You'll also be able to see that information on your console, but these are the informations that you're able to get for your entire store. Yeah. So the first is your number of visitors, and the second is your page views. So the difference between that is visitors is a unique visitor, a specific person who comes and visits. So if they visit your store multiple times within the same time period, they only count as one. Page views is even if they come back, they're counted a second time. So how many times have they been back on your store? And then you see the revenue generated from your store. In terms of revenue, it doesn't just look at people who buy immediately off of your brand store. I believe with Amazon, it's anybody who has visited your brand store, and then within the next 2 weeks, if they bought your product, Amazon attributes that to revenue generated from your brand store.
That 14-day attribution window, right? We always talk about.
Exactly. Yep. So just to keep in mind, this information doesn't generate right away. So let's say for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, the week after, you're not going to be able to see all this information, or at least it won't be accurate yet. You got to wait, be patient, and eventually you'll get your numbers. The next thing you'll see is the units that were bought off of your brand store. So basically just the revenue, except broken down into units. And then there are the orders, which is the total number of orders that were ordered that's been attributed to your brand store. So you might have multiple units in a single order. The next set of statistics that you'll see are advertising statistics. So you get how much organic traffic can be attributed to your total amount of traffic to your brand store. So on the Amazon page, there are a lot of different links for different listings that will link back to the brand store. So if a customer is simply clicking on those organic links, those all get attributed to organic traffic. And that is, for the most part, for our brands, the majority of your traffic will be from organic traffic. But also, in terms of advertising, you are able to target customers specifically and drive them towards your brand store if that is your strategy. So on that second row, you'll be able to see your Amazon sponsored brands and how much of that percentage you can attribute to sponsored advertising. Other sources, there are a lot of ways that you can cut it. It might be from off of Amazon, other links, a lot of different ways that could be attributed. It's usually a very small number, so it's not something you really have to worry about that much, but that is also something that you have to keep in mind, that there are other ways of attributing besides organic and versus sponsored.
No, thank you for that, Russell. And we'll dive into that a little bit more. And I think organic traffic, there's a lot of touch points, a lot of call to actions that Amazon is now making it visible for the customer to really, a click of a link or a click of a creative that's really going to drive the customer to the brand store. And we'll show you guys an example of that. But for now, any call outs here in brand A, brand B, in terms of the average versus Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Obviously, what the data you'll see here, it's not cumulative, but what we did for Black Friday, Cyber Monday is the highest, right? Because we wanted to really take the highest and compare that with the average and see what that change was. So any significant changes there that you would call out, Russell? What is it that we're learning with this data? Anything that you particularly want to inform our audience about what we're seeing here?
Sure. A few things. So when you compare brand A versus brand B, obviously you can immediately see that as far as the average goes, brand B has a much higher average compared to brand A. However, brand A, when you look at the percentage change in column D, we added that percentage change ourselves, so you have to calculate that. Yeah. Brand A had a much bigger jump when you look at Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So after that, you really have to look at what it is that's driving that jump, right? Is it something that you're doing yourself as far as like advertising? Did you make changes to your brand store? There are a lot of ways that it could have been impacted. And the other thing that I want to point out is, as far as like visitors and page views, you had the same percentage change, which means that as far as like conversions versus like how much people are buying per visit and all that is probably very similar. So not a lot of changes have been made there as far as brand A, but for brand B, you have an 8% jump in visitors versus an 11% jump in page views, which means that you've got people coming back even more than normal. So what is it that's having that effect? What is it that's attracting these people who aren't converting the first time, but then they'll come back and then they might convert the second time?
And it's also like, it goes back to the catalog, right? It could be that brand A doesn't have as built up of catalog versus brand B, where there's more to see, more to navigate, more pages to go through, a bigger catalog, different sections within the catalog. It might be more built out, right? And that's definitely could be also an impact. But let's talk about revenue. I mean, look at brand A, freaking 105% change. Like, and this is what's amazed me, right? It's when we look at total revenue here, row 14, remember that this is just brand store attributed revenue. We're not looking at the whole scope of what this brand did. So as far as we know, and I'm not going to put the total revenue that this brand did or brand B, but this could easily be, I don't know, 30% of revenue, 20% of the total revenue. But, we always have to, as sellers, and also as we speak with our clients, and for those that are starting their own agency perhaps, or perhaps are just looking at this data, you always have to think, oh man, brand stores are generating this amount of the pie, the whole pie, right? Maybe I should put more effort behind the creative. What's working? What isn't? And that's really where the data becomes really fun. And we are, we're obviously reporting this to our clients, and that's really compelling enough because it just puts more resources behind making the brand store experience a lot better for the customer, right? And as we know, Amazon's all customer first, right? So that's where they're adding all these different touch points to the listings, where they want the customer to go to the full catalog, and the brand stores allow you to see the whole catalog, right? We don't want you to change conversion. If you're really interested in an item, convert, buy that item. But if you're interested in terms of buying, and then you're curious to know what else this brand has in their catalog, that's where Amazon wants you to have that upsell, right? Go to the brand store, see what else is there, so you could perhaps buy something else. You're already a fan of the brand you love, you're ready to convert, you're ready to convert and hit that add to cart and buy. Why not look at something else, right? And add to cart. And that's how your average cart value just goes up. It's I mean, with e-commerce, it's just insane how much you can really just click a button. You could just add another item, and then sure enough, you've had a big, I mean, it's happened to me plenty of times where my basket is just, okay, cool. I didn't know this was my total, but hey, I want all these things, so I'm just going to buy. But sorry, that didn't even segue there, but speak about revenue here a little bit more. I just talked about it a little bit, but what's your perspective on this?
Well, in terms of revenue, you mentioned it. Like, the important thing is you do want to look at not just your brand store separately and then your brand and its revenue separately. You want to look at it holistically. So it's all about context. You want to know the percentages. It's all about percentages. How much of, say, your normal revenue in a normal week is being generated from your brand store versus how much of it is being generated during a Black Friday, Cyber Monday event. And another thing that you did mention is you want to look at individual pages, which I think is a good segue, where all of these statistics, right now you're looking at the brand store holistically, but you are able to see each of these statistics for each of your individual brand store pages. So once you do that, especially when you're comparing different brand store pages side by side, you get a lot more information. Maybe your big jump in revenue is from a specific page on your brand store. Are people interested in a specific product line of yours? All of that is stuff that really informs you for your next event. What are people interested in? And I also want to mention that there's actually 2 additional stats that's available for individual brand pages that you can't see for your overall brand store. One is sales per visit, which is sales per visitor, which is every visitor, every time you get a new visitor, how much money are you generating from that visitor? It could be $1, $5, it could be 50 cents. It really puts it into perspective, like, I'm spending this much money on driving people to my brand store. Is it worth it? How much am I actually making per visit? The other statistic that you can see is units per order, which is when people come to your store, when they order, how many units of your product are they ordering each time? So maybe they're only ordering one product every time they visit. Maybe they're ordering 5. And you can see it for individual brand pages. So maybe like for a specific product, people are buying 5 of your products at a time. That's really great. Versus another product, people are buying it once, and then maybe it's a high cost product, maybe it's product that's very durable, and they're only going to buy it that one time. So it's all about putting it into perspective. What pages are generating the most revenue for you, and is it sustainable? Can you build off on that? For your next event, are you able to capitalize on these learnings and inform your strategy? Okay, I'm going to try and drive traffic to these specific pages because I know people are interested in them during this time. All of that is calls that you can make.
No, 100%. And I think I want to go back to, because you called out a few things there. So other sources allows you within the brand store, you're able to generate source tags. So then, for instance, if you're running a print advertising campaign, right? You can give, or not print, but let's say nowadays it's all digital, right? So let's say you're running a digital campaign off of Amazon, and you've given the publisher a source, this source tag that Amazon's able to provide to you. Then you're able to see what that total revenue is for that window of time, right? You're able to track that, and that that's the only probably source tag that you have out there. And this number will 100% correlate to those efforts, right? So that's another good measure of really testing the external back to Amazon, right? And then the other thing that you touched on was really like sponsored brands. And if we see here, to me, this is interesting, right? A brand that was able to run, and I don't know what the total budget was for this brand, because we have a whole media team in house. They generated about $1,000 of the total revenue here for this window. We're looking at Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right? But when this brand wasn't running any, obviously they didn't convert any. But you can see that even if let's say if our media team put a small budget behind it and we were able to get a good ROAS for this, that's a win, right? That's a huge win. So now we know, moving forward towards bigger campaigns, we know that our sponsor brands do convert, and they, now we can perhaps enhance them, be more targeted, take them to a landing page like you mentioned, and then track that conversion. It's just, you can do so much. So I would say, as always, as a recommendation, look at your data, right? Don't just set and forget the creative. I know that it's fun looking at the widgets, updating your catalog, putting all that stuff, hitting publish, and then seeing go live. That's the beauty of brand stores. It serves like a website almost, and it's really fun going through that process because I really enjoy it. But you have to go back and say, okay, I uploaded all that creative last week. How is it performing? How is it performing compared to the week before? How is it performing to my old creative? So it's just that type of thinking that you really need to get going. And as far as, I wanted to touch more on the organic traffic. So here real quick, we all know Crocs. In fact, I have a few of myself. They're comfortable. I'm a fan. As far as organic placements, this link here, we know, as sellers, we know that this takes us to the brand store. So that's one organic way of getting there, right? And then as you go down the listing, boom, look at this. Amazon is now releasing a big placement within the listing, right? And look at this. This takes almost the whole entire page view. In terms of what they're really making efforts in terms of driving that customer to the brand store, right? And this is huge. We've never seen this. In fact, this is starting to roll out. It's been in beta for a while. Big brands that they sell to Amazon obviously got first dibs on it because Amazon wants to make sure that whatever they put out, it works. And Now they pushed it out to a lot of our brands, which is awesome, phenomenal. But what I'm advising to all of our brands, and what I'm advising to you guys is if you guys don't have this widget within your page, it doesn't hurt to email support and say, hey, I'm seeing that a similar competitor within my landscape, they do FBA, it's very similar structure, has this on their listing, but I don't. What's up? Can you enable this? They might work with you, and they might they might be able to do it. Although, as a heads up, we just started seeing it with our brand, so it might be a slow release. I don't know. But going back to this widget here, high level categories here, right? And this goes based and a big call to action here along with the logo here, which is nice. And again, this goes based off of their categories here. If you didn't see that real quick, I can go back real quick. So men's, Luke Combs, cold weather woman, right? And if you go here, see, a lot of it goes back to what they have here. Now, obviously, Crocs probably updated this holiday, so it might take a bit for Amazon to really update this. Or it could be that Amazon has seen it from a revenue perspective and really published these segues, right? We don't know how Amazon is choosing these, but we're learning as we go. So more to come if we find out how Amazon's selecting these. But again, if I'm a customer, obviously I am a customer of Crocs, and I'm like, okay, well, black is cool. But then I'm like, oh, wait, I didn't know that they had additional. Well, let's check out men's, right? Let's see what else. Boom, look at that. Talking about specific landing page, they didn't take me home, right? They took me to their men's listing, right? And now I'm able to see just within this collection, creative, right? Like, I mean, that's what we always advise our brands. It's really put lifestyle images because they just resonate. These are cool. I like these right here. You know, you can put little things on it. I don't even know what they're called. But you could put little ornaments, I guess. And then call to actions here, right? They're really pushing on this Croc here. But anyhow, now you know how some of the organic touch points within the brand store, where you can find them, how you can access them, what Amazon is doing. You know, we do our best to give you guys, our audience, pretty much what's on trend, what Amazon is pushing out. And from a data perspective, my recommendation would be go back to your brand stores, look at the attributed revenue, look at Black Friday, Cyber Monday, see if you saw that spike. I hope you did. And we hope that conversion was also a big play as customers arrive to your brand store to view other items. Just to close it out, is there any other recommendations there, Russell?
Yeah, you want to focus on your brand store because when customers look at your listings and your product, they want to see quality. They want to see that you're focused on your products and you're selling it right. And in the past, it was enough to like just have your listings optimized and looking really good. Now people look at your brand store, and if it's not well done, they'll think, yeah, this isn't a focus for you. Like, why? Like, the customer doesn't feel as appreciated, I feel like. So the brand store is now a big focus for Amazon. So you should definitely look at it too.
Brand equity, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in. Appreciate the time. Russell, thank you so much for breaking that down for us. Guys, again, this is part 2 of this big data analytics segments that we're doing here at Vendo. We get super excited. We get super stoked. Hopefully the brand A versus brand B data was helpful. If it was, give us a shout, let us know. We're willing to make that comparison, with future different segments within the data that Amazon gives us. We can do that same example, just looking at different data points. But hoping to hear back for feedback. If not, thank you guys. Enjoy your holidays. Appreciate your time.
Bye, guys.